Hello and welcome to this tech review of the Garmin Forerunner 45 running watch. I've owned this watch for over 2 years now, so I feel I'm well placed to give my thoughts on it and how it has performed over that time. In this review, I will be covering what I feel are the 4 key areas to focus on. These 4 areas are features, what the watch can and can't do; usability, how easy is it for the watch to navigate its settings; battery life, how long this watch will last, will it last on a very long run; and price, how much will this cost and set you back. So let's begin with features and usability. Firstly, looking at the screen, you can obviously see it first and foremost tells the time. This can be modified and you can download your own widgets on the Garmin app, which I will show you. But as well as that, it can also display useful features such as battery life, weekly mileage, the date, and then you have buttons on the left and right hand side. So just to explain what these do, so you have start, stop here to start and stop an activity. You have the back button when navigating on the bottom right. You have up and down arrows on the left here, and then light and also settings if you hold it on here as well, which we'll go through. So looking at the most simplest thing and the number one thing you're going to want to do is to record an activity. So all you need to do is click start here. It's going to take you to the page where you choose the type of workout. So as well as run, you have treadmill, you have bike, walk, cardio, and you can also add your own workouts as well if none of those are suitable, which can be done on the watch itself or the Garmin app. So if we just look at run, for example, what it will do is it will lock onto GPS, but as I'm inside right now, it will probably not lock on. So if we just start without GPS, but if that was to lock on, it should turn green. And then this can be adjusted as well, but default settings are distance at the top, timer, and then pace at the bottom. So there's a couple useful things you can do here, and some of them may not be obvious. So obviously to start and stop or pause your workout, you just select this button here. So when you've come to the end of your workout, you can resume if you needed to pause for any reason, and using the down button you can save your workout. This will save onto the Garmin app, and also if you've linked it to Strava, it will automatically load onto that. You can discard your workout as well if for any reason you want to do that. But just starting the run again and then just holding the down button, you can actually select and navigate your music as well. So it's a little bit clunky. I rarely use the music feature on here, but it's always good to have if you don't have wireless headphones, for example. And that's everything you need to know on the run itself and recording an activity. So if we just discard that, and you'll get a notification that's discarded. So let's look at the other features this watch can do. So obviously looking at the settings, we've got sync. So this is to sync an activity if it hasn't already automatically done so. You can lock the keys, so if you are worried about accidentally hitting any of these, which I've never experienced, but you can lock the keys if you need to. To power it off is obviously on here as well. You also have a couple useful things here, so you have timer and stopwatch. If you are doing track sessions, for example, or any kind of interval sessions, I do find myself using them now and again, so that's very useful. You can set an alarm clock. Never used it on here as I've got one on my phone, but it's always a nice option to have. You can disconnect from your phone Bluetooth if for any reason you don't want any notifications coming through. You can also activate Do Not Disturb. Just put that on. Find My Phone, very useful. Thankfully never had to use it, but if you have lost your phone for any reason, this could be a way to try and find it. Assistant as well, not actually navigated that at all, but I believe that will just give you tutorials of how to navigate it. And then back to sync. So these are all the kind of default presets on here. If we just go back, that's pretty much it in a nutshell of what this watch can do. So just to show you, or just to explain rather, what else this watch can do. So it does have a heart rate monitor at the back. Now, heart rate monitors are best when placed on your chest, but I find the wrist one is fairly accurate. So it's a great feature it's got there. It's got strong GPS coverage. I know it didn't connect there when we were inside, but normally when you're outdoors, never had a problem connecting to GPS. It is waterproof up to 50 meters, and to be honest, if you're going any deeper than 50 meters, which is probably going to be rare, but if you are a scuba diver, I don't feel you're going to need to have this watch on you anyway. But even if you wanted to have a watch on you, you might need to get a different model. But it's waterproof to 50 meters. You can navigate and control your music, as I've shown. It has a memory size of up to 200 hours of activity. So that's really useful if, let's say, you for some reason can't automatically download your activities and you need to manually do it. It can capture up to 200 hours there. And you can personalize the widgets, which can be done on the Garmin app. So in terms of features and usabilities, I would score this watch very high indeed, and I would probably give it a 9 out of 10 on both categories. Reason being is it pretty much does everything you want to expect for 90%, if not more, of the scenarios. There are more expensive models out there which are more waterproof or have easier to navigate music systems on them, but really is just the bells and whistles extras for those for a lot more money. So really this watch does everything you could possibly want it to do from a runner's perspective anyway. Next, let's look at battery life. So I'm on the official Garmin website here, which states that it can last up to 7 days, or in GPS mode up to 13 hours. Now, from my experience using this watch for over 2 years and just using it as a standard watch, I'd say 7 days is definitely pushing it in terms of battery life from fully charged. I found you can probably get up to 4 days on this, but in order to get 7, you probably will have to disconnect your phone from it and perhaps disable certain features. That's the only way I can see that battery life reaching 7 days. In terms of GPS mode, up to 13 hours is going to be suitable in pretty much most scenarios. It's only if you're doing a very long distance ultra, I suppose, that's going to be an issue. So overall, the battery life is excellent really. I guess the one criticism is, yeah, GPS mode could be slightly better. It is a very battery intensive way of recording, I do realise that, but if you were doing an ultra, perhaps 13 hours is not going to be enough, so that's why I can't give it a perfect score of 10, but I will score it again a 9 out of 10 for its battery life. So the final category is price, and looking at the options available for you, you have on the Garmin official website, the price of the watch is going for £160 effectively. It does come with free shipping, and just scouting the web, I can see there are a couple more intriguing options. So if we look at Wiggle, we can see already they're doing an 8% sale currently. This is as of time of recording, so that's for £145, and that should come with free shipping as well. And it looks like it's delivering much quicker as well compared to Garmin, which is a 2-week wait. And if you wanted to go for an even cheaper source, you always have Amazon, where the watch is currently selling for £129.50, and this is through the Garmin store, so it's not someone not affiliated or anything with Garmin. So through the Garmin source, it should be very reliable. So if you did want to save a little bit of money, ordering it from Amazon is probably your cheapest bet. At the end of the day, it's the exact same watch. So in terms of price, we have to appreciate this is a top-end spec running watch, but for £130, I think that's very reasonably priced. Not exactly a bargain, but after the year we've had, we are seeing certain tech gear go up in price, mainly due to chip shortages and inflation. So for £130, it's very reasonably priced, and I would rate that a 7 out of 10 in terms of price. Perhaps later in the year you might find at certain points sales in the run up to Christmas, so if budget is a main factor for you, perhaps wait for the holiday seasons, and you might find this will go down in price and on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or just in the January sales. Now, I was going to go through how to customize your watch on the Garmin app, but with fears of making this video a bit too long, I will possibly save that for another recording. So looking at the watch overall and looking at the categories I've rated it so far, so features and usability scored a 9 out of 10, so did battery life, and then price at the moment, going for 130 cheapest, is a 7 out of 10, so decent price, not outstanding. Overall, I would give this watch a 8 out of 10 or 4 out of 5 stars rating. There are two key factors as to why it scored an 8 out of 10 for me in this review. The first one being price. So when I picked up this watch about 2 years ago, it was around the £100 range, and I feel if you can get around that price at any point during a sale, as I mentioned, then that definitely bumps up its score rating. But going for 130 right now is around fair value at best. And the second reason is, despite it having the majority of features that you would need for everyday running, the one I feel which is key that it misses out on is built-in navigation. So if you're like me and use Strava a lot, you can follow certain segments or create your own routes, and certain watches allow you to have that built-in function to give you keys, whether that's visually or through the audio, of when to turn left, right, etc. So obviously this watch lacks it. There are other Garmin watches that are more expensive that have that built-in feature, which I think would be very useful for you to have. So that's the only reason. So as I say, overall though, this is an excellent watch. Definitely recommend it for entry level into the smartwatch running watch range, and it's never let me down in the 2 years I've owned it. So I hope you enjoyed today's review and how-to guide of the Garmin Forerunner 45. If you did, feel free to chuck over a like. But apart from that, that's everything from me today, and stay tuned for any more running tech reviews on the channel.